Hey guys, it's me. I'm back. Yeah, sorry, I had a lot of play practice. My school was doing a play of The Frog Princess, which is our first show tomorrow. Somewhat. I'll play that later. Anyway, so I've been seeing your comments, especially a certain someone. And I will get back to the more nostalgia critic. So for right now, I'm gonna do the paranorman review he just posted. Yeah, I'll get to the common ones later after when I have more time. Okay, calm down. Anyway, yeah, let's get to it and have fun. Hello. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that intro.
The Candyman can.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that intro. Anyway. Ooh.
Anything new?
Well, it's over 30 years old, so that's very unlikely.
Almost as old as when my movie was forgotten.
Oh, come on, Wendell. Your film's not even 5 years old.
Window? What?
Or is it Wild?
I confuse us too. I think I'm the one that Jordan Peele played.
Oh. And Peele is the bald one?
I know you didn't just ask that.
Calm down, Wild. Your movie will have its day.
Yeah, you should listen to Corpse Bride over here.
Wait.
Just because our
How
films
is that?
usually die with audiences when they're
How is that?
released.
Doesn't mean they
I
can't
don't
have a good afterlife. It's true, Wild. A lot of times stop-motion movies aren't huge
Oh,
hits.
but that's
But if
why
you
I
give it
love that
time, it
movie.
eventually works out in the end.
Was Fantastic Mr. Fox always there?
Yes, I don't recall seeing him earlier.
I always appear when I can be symmetrical somewhere. Try it. Try looking at me from a different angle.
Holy cow.
Bottom line, you shouldn't be let down if your film doesn't become an immediate cult classic.
Sure.
True.
Just let me buy the exact same amount of Corpse Bride merchandise right next to the Nightmare Before Christmas merchandise.
That movie's only more popular because it works for 2 holidays.
And what theme park attraction do you take over every year?
I'm in talks with Six Flags to remind them that I exist.
Okay, so nobody's as big as Nightmare Before Christmas, but you still have a lot of people that value you.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Stop-motion movies have been around for over 100 years, but their popularity has been anything but consistent. True, there's always going to be a fan base for it, but that fan base isn't always super profitable. After Nightmare Before Christmas, though, an interesting trend started of stop-motion movies either doing poorly or just well enough at the box
I love that. I
office,
love the
getting a
pirate one.
huge following later.
Ooh, Chicken
These
Run.
followings have equaled out to merchandise,
Oh,
re-releases,
that one.
and film nerds like
That
me
the
discussing.
box.
The trend usually centers around a Christmas-themed story, a Halloween-themed story, or in Nightmare's case,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
While
sorry.
Disney and Warner have certainly tried to capture that similar
Corp Bride.
magic, another studio named Laika tried to do
Coraline.
something similar, bringing in the director of Nightmare Before Christmas and garnering a pretty popular flick called Coraline. Since then, there's been several weird and odd stop-motion movies with a dark edge from Laika, and the film that kept that tradition going is...
The missing link?
Yeah, seriously, what was that? No, Paranorman. Released in 2012, there's often a playful competition about which Laika film about a kid battling dark forces is better. This or Coraline. And honestly,
depends.
even all these years
What do you
later,
think?
it's still a little tough.
True.
Coraline has the better characters, but Paranorman has the better story. So while yes, its humor and personality isn't quite as strong as its predecessor, Paranorman has more engaging twists and dark turns that, as many people have pointed out, are rarely seen in kids' films nowadays.
Yeah,
This
I almost
truly
forgot about that
does
part.
feel like a return to those 80s family flicks that wanted to either toughen your kid up or let him enjoy the creepy and bizarre. Being the first stop-motion film to use 3D printing for its facial expressions,
yeah, I remember that.
this was hands down the smoothest and most expressive stop-motion animation had been until then. And even today, it's still a marvel. There's a lot of hard work and creativity that went into making this, and we're going to take a closer look at how much of it paid off. If for any other reason to prove that stop-motion films do eventually get the respect they deserve.
Yeah, tell that to Frankenweenie.
Hey, he's right over there. No, Frankenweenie, he didn't mean it. Your day will come.
Yeah, go join Mary and Max.
Oh, come on. They're over there. Don't listen to him. You'll get a following, and so will that weird snail movie you have coming out.
This is too depressing.
Just like Mary and Max.
I'm going into your room to review this.
Jesus
Let's take a look at
Christ.
Paranorman.
Oh, darn.
But seriously, Mary and Max is great.
Of course it is. That's why no one saw it.
The film
True.
begins as a cheesy horror film plays with the lead looking eerily similar to Jamie Lee from Halloween. Wait, what's holding him up against the door? Ew. Thank God that didn't punch through.
He's gonna ruin his dinner.
We're introduced to Norman, played by Cody Smith McPhee, watching the film with his grandma. Cleverly hidden with a dark green light and in the distance, so it's a little tricky to notice you can see through her.
They just bothered to sit down and talk it through. It'd be a different story.
Nah, I see what you did there.
Grandma says, can you turn up the heating?
It's of course revealed that Grandma is dead and Norman can see ghosts, who is sitting there Courtney, played by Anna Kendrick, his father, played by Jeff Garlin, and his mother, played by Leslie Mann, all fine concerning.
Grandmother was old and sick, and she died.
This is just part of the mourning process.
Oh,
Well, that's one way to save on stop motion budget beer gut cam. Seriously though, as I mentioned before, this stop motion is amazing. Apart from details like the little blushes and blemishes on the skin, as well as the movement and textures of the hair, everyone has fantastically exaggerated designs. They range from incredibly odd to just slightly odd. Hell, even the people who are supposed to be good looking are still kind of funny looking.
Yeah.
They look like they were drawings first, but not in a way that makes them look flat. They complement the 3D model world they inhabit, but also look like the monster posters in Norman's room. P.S. I want this room. Wait, what am I talking about? I had this room.
You look nice today. I like what you've done with your hair.
Norman has gotten used to seeing dead people, though, and sees them less as a threat, but more as friends.
How's it hanging?
Oh, haven't heard that one before.
Oh, don't worry. They make up for that with an even darker joke.
Oh, good
Jesus,
Lord.
Johnny. He can't help but feel, though, like he's being followed by someone living. No, they do the disappearing thing. This film has a lot of tropes, but they do have fun with them. Like the school bully Alvin, played by one of the most famous geeks of all time, McLovin himself, Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Talk to that. That's so Alvin.
In this case, the killer saw the size of the bug's dick and became insanely jealous.
While rehearsing a school play, I swear directed by one of the old ladies from Coraline, we get across some exposition that feels both perfectly natural and perfectly forced.
They put her on trial and hanged her.
The hammy teacher acts out the lines, discussing how a witch named Agatha, let's get out of the way, is Agatha, all along, great, is sentenced to death, so she curses the judge and jury that found her guilty. And while the exposition is done well, I will say one or two of these jokes could be punched up a bit.
To an eternity of damnation.
Like, I'd love to see Norman try reading that line the same boring way he did before after her acting it out. Or maybe we don't hear the line before and it turns out it's just the word guilty. Something like that to give the jokes a little bit more oomph. The humor in this movie is fine, but it's one of the few times I actually go, I could have used a dumb Marvel joke there.
Norman, wait up.
He hangs out with a kid named Neil, played by Tucker O'Breezy, when they're approached by his uncle named Pendergast, played by John Goodman.
I was told not to talk to you. Sorry.
and you know why you're not supposed to talk to me?
8-year-olds, dude.
I know it's 3 clips and only a few minutes, but I'm sorry. I couldn't pass up a joke as good as that.
Of course
He says a bunch of gibberish Norman doesn't understand, but later, Neil wants to know more about his ability to talk to the dead, including if he can talk to his dead pet.
Can he feel if I pet him? Yeah, I guess. Bubby wubby boom. That's not his chin.
And I feel like if I keep watching you, I'm gonna have to pay or something. Pendergast kicks the bucket the night Norman is supposed to perform in the school play, and he has a terrible vision.
Oh my.
And they brought a chicken.
Norman panics, falling off the stage, and I love the parents all filming it. Thus, the father gives a line that, in my opinion, is a little too mean for this character.
Didn't ask to be born this way.
Funny. Neither did we.
Yeah, that's too douchey.
Yeah.
If, say, he thought the window was rolled up and then he noticed it was open a little and he felt bad for saying it, that'd be a little leeway. I get they want to give everyone an arc and everything, but this is some Chicken Little territory here. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at school, Pendergast appears to Norman, saying he has to read a book to stop the ghost of the witch from raising the dead. Dude, no wonder you're not allowed around kids. What's Pendergast, Walter?
I've been holding back the witch's curse for years.
Wow.
But now I'm dead.
This whole section took a year to film with just one animator working on it, which is crazy to think.
Movies, like,
Nice touch, by the way, that Alvin can't spell his own name.
Where?
You mean like the F word?
Hey, on YouTube, I don't even think you can say the letter F. I know I said the comedy could be a bit better, but some of these lines are still pretty good.
You're dead, freak show. D-E-D. Dead. You're gonna be so dead, you're gonna have to talk to yourself when you're dead.
I love when a writer figures out sometimes the most boring archetypes can be the funniest characters.
I really don't think we should be leaving him. He's probably up there right now, fiddling with his Ouija.
How do you know that's what I call being in my bedroom alone? Hey, look, it's the CEO of Leica. Oh, yeah, it's a story. He gets the book from Pendergast's body. Gotta love a kid's film that dedicates 2 minutes to just beating up a corpse. Then he makes his way to the gravesite only to discover the book he's reading is a fairy tale.
Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there lived a king and a queen.
They engage in one funny song number and then indulge in low-calorie mediocrity. Alvin stops him from reading the story, and thus the witch is awakened, combining stop-motion, ink, and CG to make this really cool effect, resulting in Puritan zombies rising from the grave. It would have been so easy to design them as normal people with just green zombie skin, but again, every one of them stands out with unique exaggerated features. As Bernard Hill, by the way, is the leader, which it is fun imagining the dignified captain of the Titanic and King of Roham just going, "Stop, blah," as they make their way back to town.
Are you freeze-framing Mom's Aerobics DVD again?
No.
Kid, it's 2012. Use Pornhub before nobody wants to use Pornhub. Courtney
I didn't even know that was a thing
Norman at
anymore.
Neil's house where she bumps into his brother, Mitch, played by Casey Affleck.
Will you help me? Please?
Okay. I guess I should go get some clothes on.
I was hoping this be like the exercise video I pause. They run into Norman and Alvin in the forest and partake in a chase scene.
What do we do? Mitch!
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Not mentally.
It's really easy to take this scene for granted, but think about how much of the set they had to build and how much they had to keep track of how every character moves, literally in every frame. It just flows so naturally, you wouldn't even think twice about it. Speaking of thinking twice about something,
Baby, I'm so sorry. You'll be all right. We're gonna get through this together.
if you've seen this movie, you know that's clue number 1. And Gandalf will score a touchdown, and Harry Potter will be MVP.
Douglas, this is God.
God?
Shut up! You are doing fantasy sports wrong.
Well, how do I fantasy sports?
Prize Picks.
Wow.
Shut up! Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can do it with as little as 4 correct picks.
That's
Shut up!
amazing.
Shut your face! Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed.
Well, I think that...
Shut up, dirty bowl of spaghetti. Just nod while I talk. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. All right, that's enough nodding.
So say if
Shut up!
It's really important.
Okay.
So say if I select more on these 3 players in Rainbow Six.
Yes, that could work.
Well, that's a
Shut
up, yeah.
Download the app today and use the code Nostalgia to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Remember, that's downloading the app and using the code Nostalgia to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Shut up. See how you like it. I don't like being lightning.
Too bad I like lightning.
Okay. Hey folks, I'm going to be playing Epic Mickey every Friday on Twitch. I've never played this game before, so I'm really looking forward to it. We also have content 5 days a week. Hope to see you there.
Anyway.
Also, everybody says they never get notified about our latest videos, so be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to get all the latest updates. After the zombies attack someone getting some Cujo's candy. Yeah, there's a few funny words they hide in the background. The Puritans freak out about. Well, let's face it, things Puritans would freak out about.
Yeah.
Just wait a month to see how you're represented.
Zombies!
Kill him in the head!
It is humorous that the townsfolk, in an attempt to stop what they think are bloodthirsty monsters, become bloodthirsty monsters themselves. You'll find that's a pretty heavy theme in this movie.
What do you think you're doing firing at civilians? That is for the police to do.
Topical. Norman tries to talk to the witch to figure out why all this is happening, so she shows him. And I'll just say it, my jaw hit the ground when they revealed who the witch actually was.
Execution!
Whoa. Whoa, Daddy. This movie went from fun to creepy to holy shit, you got balls. Not only is it ingenious to have Norman at the center to make it look like they're sentencing a kid, but then you realize, oh, it's the person behind him. It's not a kid at all. That'd be really messed up, only to reveal it is a kid. But on top of that, Agatha's last name is Pendergast, the same name of Norman's uncle. So not only is it very likely that Agatha and Norman are related, but it would also explain why he has the same supernatural power his uncle does. In all probability, this power could be what got her executed.
I was only playing.
You were speaking with the dead.
Wait.
And if Norman lived in that time period, he might have been executed too. Hell, the town now isn't that far off. Allowing him to sympathize even more with what she went through and why he's the one that it looks like is being sentenced at first. It's just a little subtle touch, but you can read so much into it. It's also cool that you ever see someone complain that you shouldn't like something because it has a jaded past? While others argue it transforms into something else and we get in these big fights over it. This film very smartly embraces these modern transformations with humor and creativity, at times playfully mocks them for how watered down and exploitive they can be, yet at the exact same time reminds you there is a bloody and disturbing history to most of it. This is so much deeper with so many more layers of understanding to the history of these fascinations than tweeting, "You like blank, so you're part of the problem." I think the same way grown-ups dress up like slashers but acknowledge they're scary because there really are killers out there, the same way kids can dress up like witches but also acknowledge there's a really terrifying history. Except it's not what those who were perceived as witches did to others, it's what was done to them. This is some smart, challenging shit for a kid's film.
Yeah, it was.
As if that wasn't enough, the film also acknowledges there's really no straight-up villain, even though there is wrongdoing. The zombie judges just want him to stop the curse as they feel awful about the wrong they did, but at the time, they didn't know it was wrong.
How could you? I believed we were doing what was right. I was wrong.
Make no mistake, I like stories with pure evil, unredeemable villains, and I like making jokes about how people can be cartoonishly evil. But those are stories and jokes. The flip of that is important too. All of us can get lost in our own extremism and lose our humanity to it, as well as destroy the humanity of others. Also subject change, hint number 2.
This may be the last chance I get to tell you how I feel.
Well, no, unless we get brought back as zombies, and then technically we'll have longer.
Haha.
Norman tries to calm down the mob and point out that the zombies aren't looking to hurt them. He even gets the support of his friends and family who originally doubted him.
So, they're not going to hurt us?
Does it look like any of them are trying to hurt you?
I was trying to hurt them.
He instantly wins the crowd over. Again, knowing how our world works, that's probably the biggest work of fiction in this. And Norman goes to Agatha to talk it out and end the curse once and for all. Unsurprisingly, though, Agatha is pretty pissed off, and in what I can only describe as about 90% of the internet, the bullied has become the bully. Even literally pushing and shoving him.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
What?
Who was different from the other people in her village.
Instead of reading the fairy tale to put her to sleep, though, he tells her a new story about a girl who manifested the same injustice that destroyed her and will continue to destroy others unless something changes. Everything from the acting to the effects work to the music to how she's designed is about as perfect as a movie can get.
And they killed her! No! Something in her came back. The longer it stayed, the less there there was of the little girl.
For all the little things that didn't quite work out before, this is chillingly good filmmaking.
All that's left of you now is mean and horrible. It's not true. Then stop. This is wrong and you know it. Keep away from me. Remember.
He finally gets her to remember a happy memory of when her mother read her fairy tales. One of the few happy memories she has. But this time, the mother isn't there. However, Normand is. And he gives her the support she needs, the same way his friends and family eventually gave him the support he needed. In a similar way, immense pain can spread more hatred. Immense kindness can spread more peace.
I think you're just a little kid with a really special gift who only ever wanted people to understand her.
Not only are the expressions on these characters emotionally charged, but you can see clearer now how much they look alike. And by helping her accept her and her gift, he also accepts himself and his gift. I'm not gonna lie, every time I watch this scene, it hits a little harder.
Is this where they buried me?
It's a pretty good place to sleep.
That story you were telling, how does it end?
I think that's up to you.
At first I wish they would point out more that they were related, but I like it's more about just trying to help someone who's in pain, and not necessarily someone who has a connection to him. It makes it feel a bit more selfless. She rests on her own without any help and disappears, finally finding peace. Even the Puritans are released from their curse. I think it's smart the main judge doesn't smile after the curse is lifted. Like, he's still scarred by the truth of what he's done. It's a small detail, but I think it's important.
Well done, son. You did it.
Yeah, screw you, you piece of... Okay, it's about accepting and understanding, just... Couldn't like a lightning bolt take out his eye or something? Not die, just... if he did, Norman can still talk to him. Yeah, he can die.
Me and Norman are in a lot of the same classes. We're pretty much inseparable, best buds.
How good is this story at getting two birds with one stone? It combines the best joke of the movie with literally the first openly gay character in an animated film. And the character's not bland or feels like he's just on a token checklist. It really helps shape the humor and the character.
Maybe we could catch a movie sometime.
That sounds great, Kathy. You know, you're gonna love my boyfriend. He's like a total chick flick nut.
Oh, and bi people aren't a possibility yet in animation, so I'm stuck. Norman even thanks Neil for always sticking by him.
You stood by me. All the time. Yeah, of course. Don't get weird or anything.
We just established your brother's kinda weird or anything. Time to use that joke. Norman is more respected now and even helps his family get closer to, well, their family.
So, what's happening now?
What's happening now is I say this is the best stop-motion movie ever made until I go back and watch it again and remember, oh yeah, it's mainly that last third, but the first two-thirds are still pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, the first two-thirds do have some pacing issues. There is some filler that can be cut, and the comedy could be a touch funnier, but it is a film that gets better as it goes along and gets better the more you watch it. The artistry, the creativity, the characters, the story, it's all wonderful, but then suddenly becomes spectacular as soon as that twist is revealed. I could watch the final act of this movie and never get tired of it, but everything before it still works, not just for all the little details setting up the final act, but also the charm that comes from these people in this scenario. Like I said, I do like the characters more in Coraline, but I adore the layout of the story and what a potent impact it has by the end. It's also nice that it isn't just a carbon copy of Coraline. I mean, really compare these two characters, they are polar opposites, yet they both go on dark and creepy adventures that seem unique to them. I like you can watch these two back to back, and there's similarities, but it's never repeating. I guess I can't say this film's all perfect, but it certainly has a lot of perfect moments with the perfect emotion, ultimately ending on a perfect note.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see, Wild, if you just give some things some time, it'll work out in the end.
I suppose, but I feel like it's missing something.
Yes, I know what you mean. Something to make it a true stop-motion classic.
I guess there's a few tiny issues, but really, what else could you add? There's great story, great characters.
Oh, I know!
So do I. Let's say it together.
Randy Newman songs! Rhinos, they scare little boys, assassinating parents,
You're both fired for singing Randy Newman. You knew the rules.
I thought it was John Newman.
He's probably up there right now, fiddling with his Ouija.
Okay, though, that was Nostalgia Critics review of Paranorman. Yeah. I got nothing to say. Yeah, literally. Usually I have like something to say, like I did with Liberty 23. I still hate that movie. Anyway, but with this time, I had nothing to say. You said all I was gonna say. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that was my return to this other reaction. So after I get some time, I'll get the one some recommended reviews of his. So anyway, see you guys later. Bye bye.